You know, up until a bit ago, I was Alice. Just Alice. Now, I'm that Alice, the one folks whisper about when they think I can't hear 'em. My friends, they don't know the half of it. The ones I work with at the hospital, they see the bruises under my eyes, but not the ones wrapped around my self-esteem. They don't know how my scrubs hide more than they show. Girl, you okay? Sarah, who's been with me since nursing school, asks as we change into our scrubs. Gotta love her for trying. Yeah, I'm good, I say, but we both know it's a lie. Just didn't sleep much, is all. Sarah tugs at the sleeve of my once bright scrub top, now a dull shade I can't even name. Didn't you used to wear that electric blue one? You were all about those bright colors. Ain't seen that in a minute. Guess I just go with what's clean these days, I shrug, avoiding her eyes. Clean or not, this ain't you. What did that man do to your closet, girl? Suck the life out of it just like he's been sucking the life out of you? There's an edge to Sarah's voice now. It's got a bite that says she's not just asking out of curiosity. You talk too much, you know that? I fire back, trying to keep it light. But Sarah ain't having any of it. And you don't talk enough. Spill it, Alice. Just then, another nurse, Betty, who's been eavesdropping, snips in from across the room. Oh, leave her alone, Sarah. Everyone sees she's down since the big day. Pretty damn clear something's going on. Icy silence clamps down on me like a vice. They're all waiting for me to say something, but what do I tell them? That the man of my dreams turned out to be the con artist of my nightmares? How Tom's swipe at my confidence is more regular than our meals together. Marriage, huh? More like a wrestling match where I lost before I even got in the ring. Not everyone needs to air their dirty laundry for the world to see, Betty. Sarah snipes back, her loyalty warming me a fraction. I sneak a glance at her. Really, it's nothing, okay? Tom's he's stressed with work and all. Stressed, my. She scoffs under her breath, but drops it for my sake. The rest of the shift I can feel their eyes on me, a mix of pity and concern. It's like I've become the lead in some bleak show where I didn't even audition. The day drags on and I lose myself in the comfort of routine, checking charts, handing out meds, comforting those worse off than me. At least at work, I can pretend I'm who I used to be. Clocking out feels like I'm walking the plank. The drive home is short, the dread long. Tom's car is in the drive when I pull up. My stomach's doing gymnastics, hoping today's a good day. But when I open the door, the air's thick with silence, worse than shouting. He's at the kitchen table, bills spread out like a losing hand of cards. His eyes flick up to me, and there ain't any welcome there. You're late, is his curt greeting. Traffic, I mumble, dropping my bag, the weight not just from the contents. He grunts, dinner? Sure, gimme a minute to change. I stumble over the words, eager to get out of my scrubs and into something less, me. In the bedroom, I swap my work greens for the gray sweater that seems to have become part of my skin. I catch my reflection in the mirror. Sarah's right. The colors, hell, they're gone, and not just from my closet. It's like I've faded to some dull version of myself, some upstanding man's wife who nods more than she speaks. I get to peeling potatoes, the knife's repetition numbing. Sometimes I think if I make the meals bland enough, they might just blend into the walls, into the air, and I can fade out with them, stop feeling like a damn fool for marrying a man whose sweet nothings turned sour as milk. Then, the silence breaks. Alice, did you pick up my dry cleaning? His voice cuts across the quiet. Forgot, I admit. I'll get it tomorrow. He tsks, a sound that says more than his words do. Never mind, I'll do it myself. Unlike some, I actually get things done. I don't argue. I've learned that much. Dinner goes by in a tense truce, me focusing on not stirring the pot, while he eats like it's just fuel. No words about the food, no words about us. At this point, I'm not sure which would be worse. Life's funny in a twisted sort of way. You wake up, do your thing, go to bed, and somewhere in all of it, you miss the moment everything tipped sideways. For me, it was the hours at work stretched out longer and home, well, that wasn't home no more. At the hospital, my shift seemed like a breeze next to my life with Tom. But damn if those hours weren't piling up like dirty laundry. 12-hour shifts turned into 14, then 16. Gotta make ends meet, right? It was a typical Friday, or whatever day it was. After enough double shifts, they all just sort of blend together. Around the millionth hour, I was sitting in the break room, trying to remember the last time I had a day off. Sarah dropped into the chair next to me, her coffee splashing over the side as she did. "You're still here? Jesus, Alice. You plan on just moving in?" I tried to smile, but it felt like doing a pull-up after an all-nighter. The bank doesn't cash in smiles, Sarah. "You working the late shift again?" she asked, the concern in her eyes clear as day. Wringing my hands, I just nodded. "Tom thinks we need the extra cash. Bills and all that." Sarah's brows furrowed. "Not like he's bringing in any prizes with his job. When do you two even talk?" The break room felt too small right then. "He's busy," I mumbled, looking away. "Busy being king of the castle," she muttered under her breath. I knew better than to argue. "He's got a lot on his plate," I offered weakly, knowing even as I said it that Tom's plate was filled with nothing but complaints and excuses. The shift dragged on, my feet dragging along with it. Patience blurred together, suffering brushed past like just another symptom of my day. Heading home, the evening chill matched my mood. I stepped into the house, the silence greeting me like the unwanted neighbor it was. "I'm home," I announced to the emptiness. Tom appeared from somewhere, a sour look on his face. "Great, you can make dinner now. I'm starving." "Sure, Tom," I agreed, dropping my bag by the door. I was too tired for a fight, too tired to stand up and tell him that actually, no, I wasn't put on this earth just to make his dinner. Later, after I'd served a meal I couldn't taste, Tom was jabbing at the proteins and carbs on his plate like they'd done something to insult him. "What about that electric bill? They'll shut us off if you don't pay it." "Yeah, I know," I said, "I'll take care of it tomorrow." "And the car needs service." He didn't look up from his plate. "That costs, you know." "Your pile of shifts actually doing anything to help with that?" I swallowed down the lump in my throat. "Seems like it never ends, huh?" Tom snorted. "Sure doesn't. Especially with your pathetic checks. Why I always gotta deal with this crap." Excuses were on the tip of my tongue, a defense ready to spring to my lips, but what was the point? He had his mind set. So I bit down on the words, bit down hard. Later, in bed, I stared at the ceiling. I'd spent so long thinking that if I just kept at it, kept working and washing and saying yes, that maybe things would turn around. But those hours at the hospital, they were shrinking my life down to something I didn't even recognize anymore. And Tom? He'd already faded from the picture. The sound of keys in the door had a way of making my stomach drop. It was like Pavlov's dogs, if Pavlov's dogs had in-laws from hell. Carla and Martin, Tom's folks, had this knack for showing up just when I felt I was about to catch my breath. I hear them before I see them, their voices cutting through the silence of my supposed sanctuary. "Alice, darling, I hope we're not intruding," Carla calls out, and yeah, she knew she absolutely was. "I made some coffee, Alice dear. Hope it's not as weak as last time," Martin chimed in, and I couldn't help the eye roll. Not that they'd even notice if they saw it. Like unwanted clockwork, there they were in my kitchen, wearing their Sunday best on a Tuesday night, peering over my shoulder. "Have you done something new with your hair, Alice? It just seems so limp." Carla's words are like sandpaper, all grit, and no care. Martin, not wanting to be left out of the insult party, adds his bit. "And how's our Tommy? You keeping him happy? You know, a happy husband is a happy life." I'm nodding, slicing through carrots with more force than necessary. "Tom's fine. And it's happy wife, happy life." Carla laughs, a sound that's like nails on a chalkboard to me. "Oh, dear, you have it all mixed up. But that's okay, we can't all be naturals at this wifely business." Just then, Tom walks in, and I'm thinking maybe I can escape to the bathroom or something. "Hey, look who's here." Mama's making jokes at Alice again. he says, and I can hear the grin in his voice. Carla beams at him. Just giving her some pointers, darling. Heaven knows she needs them. I clench my jaw, watching Tom laugh it off. Alice, babe, why don't you freshen up a bit? You look tired. It's like I'm not even there and they're discussing the weather or something equally as bland as Tom asks his parents about their day like I'm the help who's just left the room. Later, after what feels like the longest evening of my life, I'm scrubbing at a pot thinking, I can't do this anymore. I'm about to break, about to say something, when Tom leans against the doorframe. Come on, Alice, don't be like that. It's family. Family doesn't make you feel like crap, Tom. Maybe not in fairy tale land, Alice. But in the real world, you gotta take the rough with the smooth, he says, and I can tell he thinks that's the end of it. And when's the smooth coming exactly? Because I've had a rough few months, I shoot back, my voice is sharper than I intend. Tom throws his hands up and walks away. You're being dramatic. Dramatic. That word bounces around my skull as I lie down on the couch because the bed feels like it's on another planet right now. Is it dramatic to want some peace? Some respect? Is it dramatic to not want to listen to your husband and his parents talk about you like you're just a piece of furniture, a piece that's not quite to their taste? I found out about the missing cash when I was at the counter trying to buy a sandwich. My hand dug around, touching nothing but gum wrappers and old receipts. Back home later that day, I cornered Tom in the kitchen. Sink piled high, air thick with silence. Tom, did you borrow cash from my bag? He didn't even pause, stacking dishes with a clatter. Yeah, I needed it. I took a breath, counting to 10. Didn't help much. Needed it for what exactly? He shrugged, a casual lift of shoulders that didn't match the tightness in his voice. Stuff. Men's stuff, you wouldn't get it. I wouldn't get it or you won't tell me? I snapped, tired of dancing around. He turned then, eyes hard. What's it to you? It's our money, Alice. What's mine is yours, and what's yours is mine. I felt a chill then, deeper than the words he spoke. So you just take it? Without asking? What do I need to ask permission for, huh? I'm the man in this house. There was that word, man, like it explained everything. But mostly, it just explained why I felt alone even when he was right there. So what, I just have to guess when my stuff will go missing now? He glared, and a part of me wished he'd just yell instead of looking at me like that. You get what you give, Alice. Remember that. I wanted to scream, throw something, anything to show how this felt. But I was so damn tired. You think I don't give? Look around, Tom. Look at this house, at me. I give till it hurts. He didn't reply, turning back to the sink, and we both knew he had nothing to say. I left him there with his mess, our silence loud enough to shake the walls. I sat on our bed later, sorting through bank statements. Numbers danced before my eyes, refusing to add up. It wasn't just the cash from today. It was more. Can't sleep? Tom stood at the bedroom door, voice empty of whatever made people human. Just trying to make sense of our accounts. They're all over the place. He leaned against the door frame, a shadow. Maybe you're the one spending without telling. A laugh escaped me before I could lock it up. It wasn't even a good one. Right. Me. You got me, Tom. I've been buying, what exactly? Because I still wear the same clothes, still eat the same food. You're getting sarcastic now? He crossed the room, throwing himself into the chair by the window. Not a good look on you. I didn't want to cry, not in front of him. Just tell me why, Tom. Why are you doing this? He didn't respond, didn't even say goodnight. He just left, door clicking softly behind him in the kind of quiet that roared. It was happening again. Tom, sprawled on the couch, a half-empty bottle dangling from his fingers. The TV was blaring some sitcom, the laugh track mocking me. Tom, come on, not tonight, I said, eyeing the bottle. He looked up, his eyes glazed. Why not? This is the good stuff, Alice. I reached for the bottle, but he pulled it away like we were kids playing keep away. Please, Tom, the drinking. He laughed, and it stung because it didn't reach his eyes. It's the only way I can stand you. That hurt. It cut deeper than any knife could. Am I really that bad? My voice barely above a whisper. He stood up now, a little wobbly, and patted my head like I was the family dog. Nah, you just need to lighten up, babe. I'm trying, Tom. God knows I'm trying. My patience was wearing thin, fraying at the edges. He shrugged and walked to the fridge for another beer. You think your nagging will change anything? I drink because I want to, not because of anything you do or don't do. I followed him, anger replacing the worry. So, this is just you, then? Self-destruct mode full on? Stop making a big deal out of it, he said, snapping the cap off with more force than necessary. A big deal? I raised my voice now, no longer able to contain the frustration. I'm scared, Tom. You're drunk every night, and we're losing us. Us? He laughed loud and hard, but it was as hollow as our bank account. Honey, us checked out a long time ago. My heart was pounding now, each beat screaming at me to do something, anything. So, what? We just pretend? Laugh along with the sitcoms while our life turns into some trashy drama? He leaned close, his breath sour. Nobody's asking you to play pretend, Alice. You don't like it, there's the door. That stung, that he could just throw me away. After all we've been through. If it's so easy for you, why don't you leave? He snorted and grabbed his jacket. Maybe I will. Have a night out, away from this prison. Go then. See if the bar crowd can put up with your crap, I said, my voice harsher than I meant it to be. The door slammed, echoing in the empty house. I blinked back tears. This wasn't just about the drinking. It was about respect, about love, and whatever was left of our marriage. And I sat there on that too quiet evening, the fake TV laughter rolling over me, asking myself when we'd become such strangers, wondering if the laughing had ever been real. My apartment, a tidy little place downtown, was a piece of my independence. I inherited it from my Aunt May, a spitfire of a woman who never married and always used to say, a woman needs her own set of keys. I rented it out mostly, a little bit of cash flow that didn't depend on Tom. Then one day, Tom says to me, I got this project, gonna be working late. Cancel the lease. I need a spot to crash. Didn't sit right with me, but I did it, told the tenants it was family emergency stuff. A couple weeks in, I get this itch in my brain, like something's off. I'm not nosy by nature, but I need to see. So, I head over to the apartment, mid-evening. I had the spare keys since Aunt May's time. I walk in, and there it was, a whole other life sprawled across my inherited linoleum. Tom, with some woman I don't know, too cozy in the apartment that once belonged to my aunt. My heart didn't just break, it snapped like cheap plastic. His head turns, that grin spreading across his face. The kind of grin that means trouble. Why so surprised, Alice? It's not like you're fun anymore. Something in me went cold, like the freezer where Aunt May used to keep her vodka. Fun, I spat the word out like it tasted bad. So this is your idea of a late night at work? He yawned, stretched like he wasn't just caught in the wrong. Relax, Alice. It's nothing serious. Just blowing off steam, you know? I looked past him at her, sitting on the edge of the bed, grabbing at the sheets. You two have fun, I said, the words sharp as the keys in my pocket. Then I turned, marched myself straight out of that apartment, the door slamming shut like a gavel coming down. Tom just laughed, that ugly laugh of his, as I walked away. But that apartment? That little space was the last thing Aunt May left me. It was supposed to be my safety net, not a web of lies. And in that moment, I saw the whole thing for what it was, a farce. Tom never wanted a place to work late, he wanted a playground. I wasn't gonna be the fool in his game. Not anymore. That was the revelation, not just Tom and his mistress, but the truth that my keys, my independence, was the real love affair I needed to rekindle. Walking into what used to be our home, the place felt suffocating. There I was, in the thick of it all, forcing myself to skim through years stuffed in drawers and closets. Each shirt I folded was like turning a page I had read two wrong times. Every piece folded was another "I'm done." I didn't even need the heavy air to tell me, every corner of that place was yelling it at me anyway. The dusty photo frames caught my eye, and for a hot second, I considered wiping them clean. But, nah, let the past catch dust. I pulled out the suitcase, the one with a broken wheel, oh, the irony, and started packing up. "Hey, you're making quite a racket there, aren't ya?" His voice cut through from the living room, pulling up memories I'd rather keep boxed up. "Just packing what's mine," I called back, my voice steady. "Taking the good wine glasses?" he jabbed, half interested. "Don't need 'em. You can toast to your crap alone." A grunt from him, and the sound of his boots on the tile. I kept my focus on the suitcase, no, not even a glance his way. "Where you gonna go?" he tossed out, casual, like he's asking about the weather. Away. That's all he needed to know. "Need some cash?" The offer was flippant, almost mocking. "Keep your money." My voice was ice. "I'm good." He grunted again, coming closer. "Never thought you'd walk out." Neither did I. Surprise, surprise. "This how it's gonna be, then?" "One foot in front of the other," I replied. That much was clear to me. A scoff. "You think you'll make it out there?" I zipped up the suitcase, my answer firm. "I'll survive." "You know, you could stay." "Stop. Just, stop." He fell quiet then. He knew. I knew. This was overdue. The suitcase full, I snapped it shut. That click was louder than any door slam. I dragged the lopsided luggage behind me, the wonky wheel tapping out my exit rhythm. The silent exodus, no dramatic goodbyes, no audience to my leaving. Just me. Just like it was gonna be from now on. 2 years had gone by when my past decided to make a comeback. I had just emerged from the hospital with spring in my step when I saw them. Tom, looking like a kicked dog, and his mom, who always had a word or 10 to say, hovered near the entrance like dark clouds. "Alice," Tom broke out, sounding like he owned the place, which was rich, considering the mess he'd left me in. "We need you back." The audacity hit me first, then the laughter. It bubbled up, before I could even think to stop it. His mom chimed in, wringing her hands like she was washing the world's guilt off them. "It's terrible. We're drowning in debt, and after his dad's stroke, we need someone to take care," she rambled. Tom straightened up and said, "I'm willing to forgive you and let you come back." His words came out like he was doing me a favor. I could only laugh. I laughed till tears threatened the corners of my eyes, not of anguish, but a release of something heavy, a chain of the past falling off. That's when a man's voice cut through the tangle. "Everything okay here?" We all turned. It was Ian, standing there, our little girl cradled in his arms. Her cheeks were rosy, her eyes curious, untouched by the mess, just a few feet away from her. "This is my husband, Ian," I said with pride in my voice that echoed firm and true. "And our daughter, Lily." The shock on Tom and his mother's faces could have powered the city for days. My life had moved on while they'd remained stuck, playing reruns of a show no one wanted to watch again. Tom's mouth opened and closed, no sound coming out. His mom looked like she'd swallowed a wasp. The difference from 2 years ago struck me then, how much standing there meant. It wasn't about who I stood beside, it was about who I stood as. Stronger, surer, and wrapped in the kind of joy that doesn't fade. I steered Ian and Lily away, away from the demands, the debt, away from a history that could only ever be just that, history.